Today I want to share with you 3 things that commonly go wrong in background checks. Hi, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com and the creator of the Investigator's Ultimate Guide series, which is premium private investigator training from someone who's been there and done that. I have seen these things go wrong and I want to train them out of you. And the first thing I see that goes wrong with background checks, and this is kind of a subtle one and you don't think it will happen to you, but it happens, and that is searching the wrong location. And it seems crazy because the person lives in this city and they work in this city and their mom, and this is where they grew up. But when you're doing a background check, it's very common to miss things from where the person was outside of the city or county where you are. So for example, a person is born and raised in the county where you are doing the background check on him. But what if he went to college out of state somewhere else? There's 4 years or more maybe that there could be an issue or a problem that came up criminally or civilly, and if you only check locally, you might have missed it. Another real common variation of this is when a city overlaps 2 or more counties, and this kind of happens with cities that have rivers that run through them. Sometimes that's the dividing line, not only just for the county or the city, but the state. One side of the bridge will be one state, the other side will be the other state. And this is the type of thing that can be hugely problematic, and like a lot of background check mistakes, has the potential to be life or death difference. Not long ago down south, a young mentally disturbed man went into a church prayer meeting and pulled out a gun and shot and killed a bunch of people. It's a tragedy. It's straight up pure evil. One of the first things everybody asks, no matter what side you're on with these things, with gun control or gun issues, everybody wants to know right away, where did he get the gun? Did he steal it? In that case, the pro-gun lobbies, they sigh a relief because they say, look, even if we had greater regulation, it wouldn't have stopped this guy. He stole the gun. If they find out that the person bought the gun legally, then people start to say, should there be tighter restraints? Should there be more restrictions on purchasing a gun? And of course that freaks out the gun rights lobby people. In this particular case I'm talking about down south, the person purchased the gun legally. However, there was a flaw in the background check. He lived in one of those cities where, I can't remember if it's the county line or the city line. I believe a county line kind of runs down through the middle of the city. And the background check was run for, say for example, the county on the east side of the city where he lived, but on the other side of the county where, let's face it, if you live someplace, you're crossing over all the time. Maybe you're going to dinner across town, maybe you work across town, maybe the mental health facility he attended was across town. I don't know, but what I can tell you is essentially half of the city was not checked to see if this guy had a disqualifier for buying a firearm. He did have a legal disqualifier. It was missed because of a poor background check. Don't let this happen to you. Don't be the man or woman who performs the background check at the wrong location or missing a location. The second very common mistake I see people make with background checks is they don't understand the proper database or databases to check even when they are in the right location. I get this all the time. I see people do it with court systems, criminal courts, upper and lower courts, where the felonies are handled in one court, maybe a superior court or a common pleas court, while misdemeanors are held in the lower court, maybe a municipal court. People, amateurs, they're stumbling around online, they find the court records, they type the person's name in and nothing comes up, and they say, oh, this person does not have any criminal history. It drives me up the wall. Yeah, they checked in the misdemeanor court, but they missed the felonies that this person has against them because they didn't check the right databases. They checked the wrong or incomplete places, even though they were searching in the right location. The third thing I want to warn you about is the limits of the database. This is so common even among professionals. A licensed private investigator will have access to databases that most people don't, but as a licensed investigator you have to understand what's really in that database. So you may have something that's the arrest records for your state, and man, that's a really handy thing to have. but you have to understand those records are compiled from all the different counties, the different jails that are in your state. Some of those counties, the records may only go back 2 years. Some of them may have a gap where they're missing a couple of years ago, but then it picked up again. And honestly, even in this day and age, not every county really will have the ability to electronically submit or be electronically searched, and a certain county may be left out completely. This may not be a deal breaker for you if it's a largely agricultural county with a very low population that's far from your location. Maybe that's not a big deal to you, but you need to know that that's a blind spot in the database. Also, don't miss that these things change. In my state, you used to be able to go to the Department of Corrections website and bring up everybody who's been in prison. It's a beautiful, lovely thing for an investigator. It's got a picture and what they're in for and all those types of things. And even after they're released, that information was still available online. But then, with no real warning, no public announcement, no press release, the database changed to only currently incarcerated inmates. If you're not following closely, if you don't understand that, and you think you're running a statewide criminal records check for somebody who's done time in your state, but the database changed last week and now it's only currently incarcerated people, you're going to miss a ton. I don't even want to think about the liability on something like that, let alone the fact that it could be very costly to an individual, a citizen out there on the streets who's counting on their safety, relying on the information that you found. Look, as near as I can figure, there's only 2 ways to fix these problems. One is with training and understanding what you're doing, and number 2 is just by experience, which is a terribly painful way to go because you only learn when you make those mistakes, right? And when I say training, I don't have any skin in the game on this one. I don't have anything that I'm selling right now that teaches you about doing background checks. I think some of the things that I do, like in the process server training, has a good section on skip tracing. A lot of that overlaps. When you're looking for somebody, you're going to find a lot about their background. But I'm not selling you a background training course here, so you can just take money off the table as any kind of objective I have. I want you to genuinely know, like with everything I teach really, I want you to genuinely know this because the consequences for failure are so high and the results can be so dire. Look, congratulations, and I'm very pleased that you've watched this far into the video. Everybody that's clicked away before learning these 3 things, they're missing out and they're putting somebody in their world at risk because they're not going to be doing the job as well as they should be. So kudos to you. Keep learning, whether it's from free online videos, whether it's from paid training, whether it's from working under an experienced investigator, whatever it takes to be able to do the job right. It reflects well on everybody, and it can save someone in your worlds, a client or family member that you're helping out. It can save them a lot of grief. This is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. Remember, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing.